Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Build the momentum you need to become a successful consultant. Now, I can understand, growing your business is tough. You're going from maybe cold calling potential clients and having them hang up in your face, or you are out there maybe, doing those uncomfortable, cold calls or spammy emails and maybe chasing people in the Facebook newsfeed or inboxes, or maybe you're on Twitter or some sort of social media like LinkedIn, chasing shiny objects. And maybe you are going through complicated and expensive software that you bought off of a webinar, which was just wasting your time. And maybe you're going through website redesigns and you've maxed out your credit and you can't even pay for it. And on top of that, you've been sending out hundreds of emails without getting as much as, hey, thank you so much for reaching out. And you've been wasting thousands of dollars on ad spend without even generating any qualified leads. Well, I'm here to tell you something you need to do, okay, before you even think of generating leads. So don't focus on leads for your consulting or coaching business until you've done what I'm about to tell you in this podcast today. Any consultant who's gone out there to do work for themselves as an independent really understands the important truth. Okay, you're not just in the business of consulting, you're in the business of marketing. You're in the business of people. It's not about your consulting, it's not about your training, your coaching, your information, your expertise, or your paid speaking gig. It's all about marketing. Who knows you and who wants what you've got, and how can you get them to buy from you more often and frequently. And without marketing, obviously generating qualified leads or generating any conversations that lead to buyers or people that pay, stay, and refer is a figment of your imagination, and you cannot generate a revenue. And without revenue, you literally don't have a business. Now, hands up, all those people that are facing every single one of the things that I've mentioned. Obviously, you're not going to put your hand up because maybe it's embarrassing, but I know that a lot of people are going through this, especially if they're a coach or consultant. But let me tell you something. Marketing is much deeper than just generating conversations with your buyers. Marketing is much deeper than just converting, people that have come to your website into customers that pay, stay, and refer. Generating leads is much more important, aspect of your marketing campaign. And unless you build a foundation to which you generate these said leads, these leads are not going to develop into any business, and you won't have anything to come back to. Especially if today you're listening to this on a Friday, you won't have a business by Monday, okay? So in this podcast, like I keep promising you, you're going to learn how to build that foundation, how to build momentum within your business so that you have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And I'm also going to teach you how, you can generate these leads, but also what you should do before you start generating leads so that when you start your marketing efforts, your leads will develop into new business and become people that pay, stay, and refer, okay? Now, what I've realized, obviously, as even in my own, journey as trying to grow my business, there's what's called a marketing mindset, okay? And a lot of, coaches and consultants don't quite have this mindset All they know is how to deliver on their modality or how to deliver on their expertise, but they don't quite know how to reach out to people. And 9 times out of 10, they haven't even read Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is a prerequisite for you to actually go out there and connect with people. I was out yesterday, for first time in a very, very long time, and it was a networking event that was, organized by our council here because they really want to connect, with local businesses. And it was quite funny to see the people that showed up at that place. Everyone had their business cards in hand. They just say, hi, how are you? And they try to pass on that business card to whoever has an open hand. That's not the way you connect with people. Just showing people your business card and walking away to the next person. That's not how conversations are done. You're literally just giving somebody that business card and saying, here, you throw that away. Who are you and why should I care to have that business card? And what should I remember when I'm having that business card in my Rolodex or in front of my desk? And what should I think of that triggers me to look for you or your services? So a lot of coaches out there, they don't have the marketing mindset. And they just think that doing enough, just peddling Facebook ads or sending out emails or cold calling is just going to be the be-it and end-all for them to actually generate leads that then turn into customers. Some people come to me, as one of the biggest pain to say, what, if only I had more leads, then maybe I'd run a successful coaching business. If only I had more leads, then I'll be a successful lawyer. If only I had more leads, I'll be a successful, coach or whatever it is that you're doing. This is how a lot of consultants, especially the inexperienced ones in the area of marketing, think. They think that all they need is more leads. They believe that as soon as they get their phone ringing, somebody is a lead, they should actually be selling to that person. And they think, that all they need is just one more phone call and they'll get more clients. I mean, they're right about one thing. Generating leads and having conversations with buyers is critical because people are not going to buy from you if you're not talking to them. But focusing on the volume of this conversation is a misleading metric. It's a vanity metric, okay? Back in the time when scarcity was the norm, people would know that if somebody has rang you, then obviously you have to convert them into a sell or beat them into submission. Right now, everyone has enough information out there. They don't even need to bother to call you if you haven't put out information to lead them to maybe your funnels or anything that they can schedule a call with you so they can have a meaningful conversation with you. The volume of leads that you have doesn't mean anything unless you've set the stage for an effective lead generation and you're able to win the business. So you having a lot of leads out there is like sending out party invites. And when the people show up at the party, you don't know whether they're vegetarian or you don't know whether they are lactose intolerant and you don't know whether they want to drink alcohol or not, and you haven't prepared anything for them to eat. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to show up. And when they show up, they find that maybe the music is not their taste, and then they're going to walk out and go somewhere else. So consider the following story. We're going to use Mark and maybe Catherine or Sally. I don't know what will come to my mind at the time that I'm speaking to you. But let's say Mark has built maybe a beautiful boat, okay? When I grew up in Zimbabwe, we used to go to a lake and we actually fashioned our own boats from a tree. So you need to have a flat base in order for the boat not to sink. So let's say you're Mark, you've built a beautiful boat, it hasn't been in the water, and it's got all the fancy bells and whistles, and it's probably the prettiest and most eye-catching boat at the docks. But when you took it to sea, Mark, when the boat sank. You know why the boat sank? Is because Mark was focused on the shiny objects and didn't focus on the most important part of the boat, a sturdy, flat hull. A hull is, that is weak and full of holes will definitely make the boat sink. No matter how pretty it looks, no matter how good it looks, the prettiest shoes that are not comfortable won't make you walk 1,000 miles. So Mark was just too busy looking pretty. You were just too busy creating a website that's got all the whiz-bang things, which basically people don't want anyway. Okay, and then let's have an opposite. Catherine also built a boat, but unlike Mark, she made sure that her boat was it was built fundamentally sound and it didn't sink. She focused on getting the foundations right. Okay, it was a very pretty boat. It looked rather basic, right? But she took her boat out to sea and it didn't sink. It moved gracefully, sailed as she desired, and once it passed the sailing test, she knew she could enhance its appearance. So you want to make sure that you are not sinking first, right? You might have all the whiz-bang things that then come a little bit after. You know how many people come to me and say, oh, how can I make my funnels look like Amazon? Do you know how long it took Amazon to be where it is right now? Yes, you are in awe of their one-click operation. That took a lot of time, money, and effort and iteration to get to where it is right now. They just didn't wake up one day and say, oh, wait a minute, what if we could make our clients just click once and then they can get whatever it is that they want? So in the context of marketing, your consulting business is like that boat, which Catherine built. Unless your foundations are set, your lead generation efforts, will always be looking like Mark's boat that sank. If you don't have the foundations, if you don't have the lead follow through, if you haven't identified your target market, you haven't clarified your message, you don't even know what media to actually use to reach out to your audience, you haven't created a lead capturing funnel or a nurturing system or even a sales conversion strategy, and you don't even know how to deliver world-class experience, or you don't even know how to increase customer value and convert those customers into people that pay, stay, and refer, grand opening, grand closing. All right. Any leads that you bring to your place will definitely leak out. Effective lead generation for consultants and coaches is built on fundamentals. All right. You need to know these fundamentals. You need to identify your ideal client. You need to craft a compelling message. You need to create a strategic offer. You need to understand the meaningful sales conversion, map out that whole process so that it's easy for you to repeat and rinse that whole system over and over and over again. There's no point in you, following through for shiny objects. None of that stuff ever works anyway. Half of the stuff that talks about, freedom and passive income are only found in deceptive Facebook ads. And if you find yourself following down that rabbit hole, then you have no excuse or no reason being a consultant. Once you've got your ideal client, your compelling message, your strategic offers, and you now have a sales conversion, if you have these pieces in place, your lead generation strategy can actually become 10 times more effective. Because without any of these things, your lead generation or your consulting business or your coaching business or whatever training you're putting out there will definitely sink. You're inviting people to a party when you don't actually have the systems and processes to actually keep them, maintain them, and keep them asking for more. So if you want our help in taking advantage of, really getting around to understanding your lead generation process, and so that you can, convert these people into customers that pay, stay, and refer, I invite you, to book a call with me. There will be a link to my calendar in one of the, emails that comes with this podcast, or in the show notes. And once we are on this call or once we're working together, we'll work hands-on with you and develop a strategic plan. And then we'll deep dive and work with you to get your ideal client clarity, your strategic messaging, really look at your consulting or your coaching offers and look at the fees and the pricing around what it is that you're charging out there. And if there's a need for us to optimize your business model, we'll do that. And once all that is in place, I'll then help you set up your marketing engine and your lead generation system so that you can consistently attract the right kind of people with the right kind of pain and the ideal clients that absolutely love what it is that you've got to offer them. And these people usually pay, stay, and refer. You know what? Because you listened, you heard them, and that's what people are looking for. People that listen to them and people that make them feel like they belong. So, I keep repeating about identifying your target market, because if you don't know who you're speaking to, if you don't understand the language that the people that you're trying to reach out to, you will never be able to speak to them. Ndikatanga kutaura chinhu chamusinganzwa ungandinzwe here. Handipapa rutoshamisa kuti ndakutaura kuti kudii. The last 5 seconds, you probably tried to think, oh, wait a minute, something happened. Is he getting Tourette's or whatever? No, I was speaking my own language, because obviously I'm African. We speak 5 different languages, right? So what that meant is I said something to you that you didn't understand. And that's how a lot of people are approaching the marketplace. They're speaking their own language, which their customers do not understand. So what does it mean to actually identify your ideal client? Because marketing and lead generation begin with identifying the right person with the right pain that is going to, triple stumble and fall, and is willing and able to buy your services. And I don't mean on the surface level where you just think, oh, they're probably 38, run a business or things of that nature. I mean truly understanding who your ideal client is, as well as their desires, their problems, and their uncertainties. And then when you identify your ideal client, this now becomes an exercise of disqualification, because if you know who you want, you will know who you don't want. And a few well-to-do consultants are very focused on who they serve, and they understand that most prospects aren't a good fit. Okay? So at the end of the day, you are now in a position to literally find out who are these people that you want to reach out to. What industry are they in? What's the company size? Where are they located? Who within the business do you need to approach? What is the sort of job title do you approach first? Are they the decision maker? Or are they, the person that actually makes a decision whether the things are bought or not? And you also want to know the qualitative information, like what sort of problems and pains are they sort of facing within their business? What is their desired future looking like? If your products and services are the ones that can fulfill that, then you have every right to reach out to them and say, hey, Sally, hey, Mark, because your boat has been sinking, here are the things that you can do to stay afloat. You also need to know what's holding them back from getting there. Is it a pain that is actually going to open their wallets, or is it a pain that they enjoy having? Because that too is possible. Some people are happy to just have problems that they can talk about because that's who they've identified themselves as. But if it's something that is keeping them up at night, if it's something that is going to cost them their life, their health, their wealth, their relationships, then they need it fixed. And how can you, as a coach or consultant, approach people like that with the right kind of information and engage them at the right time and with the right solution to solve their problems? Because when you know this information, when you know what it is that's keeping people away, you've got much better understanding of your ideal client, and everything in your marketing starts from here. So you literally need to know exactly what your ideal client is going through and how you can be of service to them. So once you know who your ideal client is, you now need to clarify your message to them, because you know who they are, you know what their pain is, you would know what they respond to the most. So you need to craft a compelling message, okay? And that message should actually intrigue your ideal client to actually take some sort of an action. So maybe the first thing that your client or your prospect does when they show up on your website is maybe download some sort of a lead magnet that you have already created, which obviously solves part of their problem, but not all of it. Okay? And if you have identified your target audience, this should be very easy for you to know what the next logical step would be for somebody who's just shown up on your website. And you have the information that you need, and you just have to put it together in a message that literally grabs them by the jugular. Get them to take some sort of an action, even if they're not, giving you money immediately, but they should swap something, to also put skin in the game. All right, so here's a formula that you can actually use to develop your messaging. And people that go networking and meet up with other people, you need to actually have a formula that you say what it is that you do and who you do it for. All right, so I help dash, which is your ideal client, to dash, which is solve the problem, so that what outcome do you actually give them? So I help small to medium businesses generate leads so that they have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And you need to also prove that you're not just experimenting with the person that you're speaking to, and you want to tell how long you've been doing it for, and if you've got a process, and what sort of results you get at what time. So the formula goes: I help ideal client to solve problem so that what outcome. Over the last dash years, I've used dash process to get people this result in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or whatever it is. Okay. At the end of the day, you really need to make sure that this message becomes your core marketing message. All right. So that people actually get to understand who you are, what you do, and how you can help them solve the problems that they're facing. And, if you've done it before and they're not just a guinea pig. Okay. It's not maybe designed to sell, but it's designed to get the attention of your ideal client. And once you have a compelling message, you definitely get your ideal clients to start thinking, how do they how do you do that? Or you get them to ask questions, because you've piqued their interest. So how do you do that? It gets them curious about how you're going to be able to solve their problem, because a lot of people actually think that the problems that they have are unique to them. They think they're the only person in the world who's going through what they're going through right now, and they think because they can't get a solution or they can't get the results that they're looking for, those results do not exist. But if you can show them, and if you can help them by actually helping them, you, my friend, are literally putting yourself in front of the audience that will then pay, stay, and refer. And it actually invokes them to reach out to you, because now they know that, them holding on to the problem that they have is stupid and is costing them time or emotion or whatever it is that you know that is actually costing them. Okay. But you want to remember one thing. Don't just store these value proposition on a piece of paper and not use it. It should be visible on your website. It should be consistent in all of your marketing material, your LinkedIn profile, your website, your business card, wherever you can put it out there, so that whoever is in touch with your business, with your work, with your podcast, with your word, with your videos, with your books, has an understanding of who you are, what it is that you do, and how you can help them. So right now I'm looking at all the business cards that I got yesterday. Besides just a phone number, and besides a glorified logo, I don't even remember what each and every one of these guys do. What is a help desk? What is a company accountant? What is it that you do? I'm looking at somebody who's a doctor of Chinese medicine. Maybe this is a bit unique, but what is it that they can help me with? It doesn't tell me, maybe they help me with pain and stress management. It doesn't tell me if they help with allergies, with digestive issues, or maybe if I'm a woman, anything with the gynecology stuff, or maybe any skin conditions or emotional issues, or any of the men's problems that are out there. You need to let people know who you are and what it is that you help. If you're an accountant, okay, don't just show up there and say, oh, yes, I'm an accountant. Well, guess what? What do? Are you doing individual tax returns? Are you doing rental property tax returns? Are you doing self-managed super funds? Are you doing loan and finance solutions? Are you doing financial planning? Any of the legal services or legal tax implications that anybody might be going through? Do you help people with their BAS? What is it that you do? Besides me yelling and everything else, but what is it that you do? All right. Nobody cares about you being whatever, job position that you're in. What are you bringing to the table? If your ideal clients can't see it, then it's not going to work for you. If your ideal clients don't know what it is that you can help them with, how are they going to hire you? And once you have intrigued them, you've piqued their interest, you've gotten their, information that they need, create a strategic offer that they will be able to purchase from you. You have brought them all this way. You have invited them to your party, and now you're not going to let them eat. Now you're not going to feed them. Now you're not going to, get them to dance. Have you ever thought about how you actually deliver your coaching business, your consulting projects, or maybe your training, your information, your expertise? People in a position to hear you, see you, read you, experience you? How do you actually deliver these projects? Because many consultants just freestyle their offer and, offer it based on whoever is willing to pay. They don't put enough time to actually think about how to make it profitable, because one offer can be sold to many different people in many different ways. We are now in the abundance culture, all right? Different things for different folks, people. So if you've got a strategic offer, it actually helps you maximize either your time, your impact, or your income. Because some people might need that exact solution, but they might not be able to afford you in person. You can put that offer in the form of a podcast like we are right now. Because if I was sitting in front of you, this will probably be costing you about $2,500 a month at a minimum. But now you're listening to it for free, so you can now decide whether you want to implement it by yourself or to hire me to implement any of the things that I'm talking about. How are you putting your work out there so that people have an understanding of how you'll be able to help them solve the problems in their life? A strategic offer helps you to maximize your time, your impact, and your income. So if you want to create a profitable, consulting offer, you must definitely learn how to package your services, position your expertise, place value on your work, place value on your time, price your offer right. Like I keep saying, a lot of people have a very weird business, model, and we can optimize that so that you can literally start earning more money with less struggle. What are people buying from you? You need to let people know in your offers, here's what I've got, here's what it will do for you, here is how it works, and here's what I want you to do next, because you got to put out a call to action. And when you do this, you're more likely to offer something that your prospects actually wants to buy, because you've made it easy and easy for them to buy from you. A strategic offer actually helps you escape maybe scope creep. When people start adding things just because they just want to get more value, and you avoid trading your time for money, and you actually deliver the most value to your clients. And once you understand your audience, you have the message, you've got an offer, you literally have to start selling. You can acquire all the leads that you want, but if you don't know how to guide these prospects to deliver them, you discover whatever value of the engagement through a meaningful sales conversation or conversion, you, my friend, are just spraying and praying with your marketing. Because if you don't have a sales conversion strategy, you'll have trouble turning those leads into money. You'll have trouble turning those, suspects into prospects. And even if you do win the business, you end up leaving a lot of money on the table. You know why? Because you haven't actually expanded on how else you can help these clients. So it's no secret that sales are a challenging thing to a lot of consultants. If you can't sell, you lose out on business. A lot of people are afraid of asking for the sale. A lot of people are afraid, of being rejected. So they don't actually go in and close the sale. They just hope somebody would say, yep, let's go ahead. A meaningful sales conversation is where you actually ask the right question, and then you identify whether your service is going to give your client an ROI and actually value to the project. Because if you're going to help somebody realize $2 million within their business, wouldn't you be able to ask for 10% of that at a minimum, just so that they can, invest 10% so they can get the bigger fee that they're going to be returning, after they've invested in you. It's not about making a pitch. It's about working together with your prospects so that both of you understand the value that you can create within the business. Because after you've gotten into a compelling sales conversation, your prospect is really excited to working with you. You know why? Because you understand who they are. You've got their best interests at heart. You're not just selling stuff to them. People like buying stuff, but they don't like being sold to. All right? So here's my offer to you. I want you to book a call with me so that we'll definitely take advantage of all these prospects that are coming to you that you haven't been converting into customers that pay, stay, and refer. And what will we do? We'll work hands-on with you so we can develop a strategic plan and then deep dive while we're working for you to discover your ideal client, so you're really crystal clear on who you can serve and what results you can get for them. And once we've done that, we strategically craft your messaging and your consulting offers so that you can command higher fees and put up your prices. And once all that is in place, we can actually optimize your business model and help you to start setting up your marketing engine and lead generation system so that you can consistently attract ideal clients over and over and over again. I can't wait to see what you'll do with this information, because once you know your ideal clients, once you've got your compelling message and you've got your offers out there and you've got you now have an understanding and meaningful sales conversation, there's no stopping to the amount of money that you'll be able to make and how you can start creating diverse and recurring revenue streams from your business. You know why? Because you've got an understanding of the people that you're going to be serving. So you're creating things that they are already willing to buy. And you know what that does? It would definitely 100% bulletproof your business, even when there's going to be a market downturn, even if the news is flooded with doom stories, global pandemics, and any sweeping lockdowns. You, my friend, will have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And we all know and understand that without marketing, generating conversions, with buyers or with leads, is impossible. And you cannot generate revenue. And without revenue, you don't have a business. I want you to have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au